Hello and welcome to this video today where we're going to be talking all about LinkedIn and the video will last for 30 minutes. So LinkedIn is something that a lot of students want to engage with. They've heard about the benefits of it. They're not sure how to approach it and how to make the most out of it. So that's why we've created this session today, and that's hopefully how you'll feel come the end of the video, that you can feel that you know how to use LinkedIn and you know how to approach it so you can reap the rewards that you may have heard about. So in terms of the objectives that you hopefully take away from today's session, so firstly, we want you to understand the purpose of LinkedIn, how to use it practically, and the ways to get the most out of LinkedIn. And that's hopefully what you'll understand come the end of this 30-minute video. So firstly, I want to start with what LinkedIn actually is. So just going to break down a bit of background on LinkedIn before we talk about why most people use it and what benefits they get from it. So firstly, LinkedIn was launched in 2003, and as it stands right now, it's got 810 million users. So it's a large platform. But interestingly, approximately 60% of that user base are between 25 and 34. So it's a large young membership on the platform, and this is something that's quite interesting because if you engage with a platform, or you may have had ideas about it, you may think that it was for individuals that are more experienced and further on in their career. But as it shows there, a large proportion of users are between 25 and 34. Now, in terms of the difference and what is unique about LinkedIn, it's that it differs slightly to the other social media platforms. So you'll use things like Snapchat, WhatsApp to communicate with your friends. You might use Facebook and Twitter to kind of keep your friends updated with what you've been up to, including Instagram as well. And then you might use TikTok, YouTube, Reddit for entertainment and things like that. It's important to recognize that we do have different sides to us, and there's no problem when you're kind of looking at one platform, we're using it for one thing, and thinking about a platform for another thing. That's what they're there for, to allow us to express ourselves in different ways. However, the gap that LinkedIn feels is that we might not want to show our personal side, maybe to a larger extent, to our professional network. And the same being that we may not want to show what we're up to in our work life to our friends. It might not be as interesting to them. So LinkedIn fills that gap. It gives you a chance to talk about what you're getting up to in your professional life and to share it with like-minded individuals. So that's why it is useful to have a LinkedIn page, so that you can build your brand, you can build your network in a professional manner while still being able to use the other platforms for other things as well. So that's how I'd like you to think of LinkedIn. It's something that showcases your professional side. So what is LinkedIn for? Now, most people think about LinkedIn and they simply see it as a jobs platform. Now, it does host jobs on there, and it is a large part of the platform. And you should be checking it out to see about any opportunities that you can find on there, in addition to the other job sites that you're looking at as well. However, there is a lot more to LinkedIn too, rather than just hosting jobs and finding jobs on there. And that's what we're going to explore as we move through the session today. But in reality, LinkedIn has many uses. So firstly, it is used to help you connect with other people. Before the internet, LinkedIn and social media, this could only really be done by attending events, going out there and actually meeting people in real life. Whereas now, LinkedIn allows you to access a large number of professionals on a single platform. LinkedIn is also useful to keep up with industry news, and in particular, you might find industry-specific news as well. So if you're someone that's interested in a certain sector, you can maybe follow companies and individuals on the platform and keep informed about what's going on in that area. LinkedIn also has a tab for what's trending in the news as well. which you can check out, and I'll show you how that looks on a later slide. But in terms of keeping yourself informed, what's so good about LinkedIn is that companies and individuals are motivated to post on there, so you will be able to access their recent articles and things that they've been doing to help you better prepare for your job interview and your job applications as well. People typically struggle where to go in terms of their research, and LinkedIn is a great place to go to gain as much information as you possibly can. And lastly, it's also good for, as I mentioned before, building a good network, which will allow you to hopefully hear about opportunities in the future. So how do you actually go about building your profile? So I'll show you my profile as we go through today's session, including what you need to have on your profile so you can build the network that you're after. So firstly, you do need to have a photo of yourself. Now, as it says there, a photo will attract 21 times more profile views. And this is probably obvious. A profile without a picture could easily be interpreted as a fake or a bot account. So that's why adding that picture does make the difference. We may not be comfortable with sharing a picture of ourselves on this platform, but if you can have a picture, it does help for those to engage with you. It does help for those to identify you, just in case they've met you kind of in the real world and they want to follow you on like, keep connected online. Then they need to know which profile is yours. So it does make a difference, and as I say, it does attract more profile views. If you want, you can add a banner to the top of your profile, like I've got here. So where just above my profile, I have a banner, and that can be whatever you like. I've gone for my employer's brand. It's a Grad Consults branding. This could be something that you want to use to make yourself stand out. Maybe you've got certain skills that you'd like to showcase, and you want to attract attention. So you can do that by including a banner of your choice. You'll also have an about section on your profile that comes just after your picture and your banner. And this is where you can use it like a career objective, like you might find on a CV. Just allows you to share a little bit of information, nice and punchy as well, not too much detail, but just something short that can serve as a nice introduction to yourself. You might want to talk about your motivations, your passions, what areas of work you find interesting, and you can also talk about your future career ambitions as well. As I said, do want to try and keep this short. Maybe to a maximum of 100 words would be a good place to start. You can then include your work experience section, and again, this is something that you probably will see on the CV too. You have your education and your work experience, and LinkedIn allows you to update your work experience section as well. You can also add in any volunteering experience too in this section, and all you want to do is add the name of the company, the duration. You can also talk about any responsibilities if you like. If you do talk about responsibilities and things like that, try not to duplicate what you've already got on your CV. Try and keep the details unique. As I've said before, try and keep it concise with what's going on your LinkedIn profile, as people may not be motivated to read lots of text that's on there. It just serves as a nice introduction to hopefully then build a connection from there, and maybe to attract recruiters too. You then got your education section. So again, that's similar to a CV, and still you can add in so you can add in achievements and things like that, and any projects that you got involved in your education too, if you like. So you'll notice it is similar to a CV, and that's kind of the point really. There's going to be lots of recruiters on LinkedIn, and they'll be able to access your profile. And it's not like you have to submit your CV for them to get to know you. You can have your profile, and hopefully it grows in awareness if you keep engaging and interacting with the platform, and then hopefully you'll attract recruiters from that standpoint. There's also a skills section on your profile. Similar to a CV, again, you could have a skills section on your CV. It just depends on what approach you've got. But with LinkedIn, what you can do, which is kind of better, really, is that you can have people endorse your skills too. So you can list the skills that you think are relevant to you, and you might have worked with people, or even your current colleagues might feel the same, that's a skill that you definitely have, and they might endorse you on that skill. So this could be something that is, reciprocal. So you might want to kind of do it for other people too, and then you're likely to get endorsements back. But having up to 5 skills on your LinkedIn profile leads to around about 17 times more profile views, which is really useful when it comes to building a network and even attracting recruiters. There's another section on LinkedIn, which again is a step up from the CV. You can have recommendations on your profile. So this can be from people that you've worked with before. You could ask them for a recommendation, and again, it will be reciprocal. They'll probably ask, or you could offer they give them a recommendation, and then you would get one back too. And it just helps for recruiters to get to know you a little bit more. We all know the benefits of a recommendation, and it's nice to have it on your profile as well to kind of showcase your capabilities. And as I said before, it might be that as you move forward through your career, you tend to keep up asking people for recommendations and then giving them back. So you can build a nice pool of recommendations for your profile for people to review. So how do you actually go about building your network? So LinkedIn has tried to mimic, much like the real world, how it works in kind of building your connections. So you build connections from your existing connections, and it goes from there. And I'll talk a bit more about how that works in the following slides. So on LinkedIn, you will see degrees of connection when you are looking to build your network. So you will see people that you are connected with who will be detailed as first degree connections. And when you go on their profile, it will say first degree connections. These are people that are already in your network and they have full access to your profile. You'll also then be able to see second degree connections. So this will be people who are connected to your first degree connections who you are not yet connected to. And then you will see third degree connections, and those are people who are connected to your second degree connections. And the way it works is that you would obviously connect with your first degree connections, and then you build your network from there. You could potentially ask for introductions and referrals as well, just to help with the relationship building. But that is how it will be presented to you on LinkedIn. And the way it looks is like this. And it will say a second connection. So this is someone who I have, who I'm not yet connected with, but is a connection of one of my first degree connections. With those who are in the second and third degree, it says your connection, it is always best to send a tailored message as well. Even if you might have met them already in person, it's just nice to set the relationship on the right foot by sending a message with your connection request. And as I said before, you might have people who are in the third degree of your connections. Depending on their privacy settings will mean that you might be able to connect with them or not. As you see, you might have the option to follow them, or you might have the option to connect. So when you do send a connection request, you are prompted, I should say, to send a note to that person as well. And this could be kind of in any instance that you met that person. Maybe actually you've just seen their post online and you'd like to engage with that person and keep up to date with what they're doing. Or it could be that actually you met that person in real life and you're following up online and you'd like to connect and keep in touch. So it's always important to send a tailored message. And what you might want to include in that is obviously you'd have the introduction. So it could be like where you've met, what you've seen, just depends on the situation. Maybe why it would be good for you to connect. Sometimes it's obvious, but sometimes it isn't, and you've just reached out to someone. So it's always nice to kind of say what would be the benefit for you both to connect, and then just to sign off with a simple thank you. It can be really that simple and straightforward to build your connections. As I said, I will speak about the privacy settings. So the way you access your privacy settings is on your LinkedIn. You will see a me icon with your profile picture. all you need to do is click that and then go to settings and privacy, and that's where you can amend your privacy settings. On LinkedIn as well, you'll probably be encouraged to join certain groups, and if you are keen to expand your network, here is a great way to do it. Whenever you join a group, everybody in that group does become part of your network as well, which allows you to send them messages using a LinkedIn standard messaging service. So you will be able to keep in contact with those people via message on LinkedIn. So do make sure that you get involved with any groups on LinkedIn that are of your interest. It could be in industry, it could be a skill that you'd like to develop, could be local professionals or professionals from around the world as well. So there's lots of groups on LinkedIn, and your university might have careers groups set up as well, or even any other groups that might be set up, maybe based around your course or things like that. So you then also have access to events on LinkedIn. And as I said before, much like when you are engaging with the platform, you will receive recommendations about what events and what groups to join and to attend. So that's why it's really good to always kind of engage with the platform so it can tailor its experience for you too. I'm now going to move on to some top tips or some tools that you can use to get the most out of LinkedIn. So firstly, we've got the LinkedIn Alumni Tool, and it's certainly an underappreciated tool. So the way you access the LinkedIn Alumni Tool is you go to your university or any university's page, and as you can see there on their page, it has the alumni button. What you need to do is click that, and then it allows you to see the details of the alumni from your university. You'll be able to see what sectors they're working in, companies and locations that they've gone to work in. It really is a good tool. If you're someone that has no idea where to start in terms of planning for your future, it can be really useful to see where those from your course have gone to and what areas they've gone to work in as well. And naturally, you'd have something in common with those alumni. You both studied at the same university, so that can help when it comes to forming a relationship and a connection as well. So people might be more willing to accept connection requests from those that have studied at the same university. If you end up building a good connection with someone via this LinkedIn Alumni Tool, then there's a potential for gaining a referral here too. Now, referral is really useful and is actually the number one way to get a job, and it's the number one way in which recruiters employ individuals as well. So really is an underappreciated feature, and if you can make the most of it, you will benefit tremendously. So definitely check out the LinkedIn Alumni Tool. As I've mentioned before, you can follow companies and groups as well. So companies, it's useful to hear about news that and articles that they're sharing. But there's also some people on LinkedIn who share lots of useful content as well that you can engage with, and those that kind of sum up the news of the day of the week that they can share with you too. So you might have people that you're interested in keeping up to date with anyway. You might have heard about them a bit, and you found that they've actually got a LinkedIn profile where they will talk about what they've been up to and the projects they've been involved in as well. So you can really follow anyone of your interest. You've got people like Bill Gates, Arianna Huffington on there, Sheryl Sandberg, whoever you like as well. And there's a few other names too that I've shown on the screen. But there might also be people with a bit of a smaller following who's maybe you've not heard of and hasn't got a big brand, who do share great content. So you can also bear them in mind as well as you engage with the platform. I'd also say in terms of getting the most out of LinkedIn, it is a great place to create content, and it does help with engagement. However, a lot of the time, people really only post once they've achieved something. So for students, they'll set up a LinkedIn account because they've been told to do so maybe. They'll leave the LinkedIn profile sitting there dormant until they graduate, and then they'll post a picture about their graduation, which is totally fair to celebrate your achievements, but you've missed out on a lot of potential in the meantime as well. Just posting when you've done something, such as when you've graduated or when you've got your degree results and things like that. In fact, you'll probably get a lot more engagement and consistent engagement when you post about what you've been working on in terms of your projects, what you've been up to, it doesn't have to be a big achievement, but it could just be kind of what you're working on. And you're showcasing to employers what you've been up to as well. And they could be attracted to that, to hear that you're utilizing those skills. And it's real evidence of the skills because you're demonstrating that you're actually doing the work. So make sure you're consistent with your updates and you're willing to share things that you have been doing rather than just waiting for the big achievements when they come. There's loads of different ways that you can create content, loads of different ideas. And for me, it is the best way to passively network. The more content you put out, the more engagement you get, the more connection requests that you'll get, more profile views as well. So that is how you can, rather than looking for people to connect with, you're likely to receive connection requests yourself if you are putting out content. And also, you'll receive those individuals who are relevant to your sector if you're posting content that is relevant. So whatever you put out there will attract those that are interested in it. So if you've got a certain sector or industry you're interested in, post things about that, you're likely to receive engagement from those individuals in those areas, which is probably a little bit easier than trying to find individuals in those areas. So it is a good place to start. Now, you might be curious about what content could I put out here. So here's just a few things that I've done. So we've got things like a poll that my manager has posted and I've shared as well. An article that I wrote, posted a video, and then we've got my colleague here who has given an update on their first few weeks in the role. Just things like this to show people what you're getting up to as well. But you can post other things like, short and snappy bits of advice, sharing your reflections on recent events. That could be personal events or even public events. You may have read an article that you found interesting, and you're just sharing your insights from that. You might want to post longer motivational posts. You could post videos as well, like I've done here. Posts with images, even your own articles, whatever really floats your boat, whatever really represents you, you can post on there. And it will be down to the engagement. Those who like your content will engage with it, and those that won't will simply leave it, and that's okay. You then will be attracting the group that you want and people that you will hopefully build meaningful connections with. But not only that, you can engage with other people's posts as well. There's no reason that you can't be liking, commenting thoughtfully on other people's posts as well, because they're able to see your interactions with those posts too. People can see what you're writing, and they might want to have a look at your profile too, if there might be things in common between you. So that's something to be mindful of. And of course, you do need to be mindful of how you do want to present yourself too. So, things will be seen, your comments will be seen by many people. So be mindful how you'd like to present yourself. But that's just a minor point, because in reality, when you do put your content out, like and comment on people's content, they're likely to reciprocate and look at yours too and engage with yours too, which does help. And the more you engage in a platform, the more LinkedIn can tailor your experience too. You will then, as I said before, get profile views and post impressions. And this really is the best way to build your network. You'll have people visiting your profile based on what you've written, and you'll be able to see how many people your posts is engaging with, how many people have seen it. And if you're consistent with your posts, that number goes up and up as well. So that just shows you that you can put yourself out there, and you can reach people, and you never know who might be attracted to what you post too. So if you're someone that thinks, you might be a bit out of your comfort zone to do so, that's totally fair. You can just start small, start posting kind of what you've been up to recently. And if you want to step into other areas where you share your reflections, totally fair. You do what's right for you. But if you do want to attract people, you do want to build your network, it is a great place to start, rather than trying to identify individuals, as I said before. And the final tip is about the news. As I said, there is like the trending tab that LinkedIn has, and then you can also read through those articles as well. LinkedIn has a really useful feature where if you comment on a topic that is trending, your post may be featured too. So that helps in terms of building engagement and building your network too. LinkedIn might feature your post, which will be shown on one of the tabs. You would click the tab, read the article, and then your comments will be below that. So that's a nice thing to have your posts recognized, and it might lead to more fruitful conversations as well around the topic. So that's something to bear in mind. I just want to talk about LinkedIn Premium. I've briefly touched upon it before. There are some benefits to it. I don't think that those that are just getting into LinkedIn need it necessarily, but just in case you wanted to hear a little bit about it and consider it, I thought I'd share a little bit too. I would say that you want to get familiar with its mechanics before you go ahead and subscribe to Premium. But here are some of the benefits. So firstly, you have LinkedIn Learning, which means that you'll have access to 15,000 online courses through LinkedIn. However, your university may already provided you access to LinkedIn Learning with your university email. So make sure you check that out with your university before you subscribe to LinkedIn Premium. Could already be a feature or a benefit that you already have through your university. You then have something called InMail on LinkedIn, and that means that you can send a message to anybody, even if they're not a connection. And you don't even have to send a connection request with a note on it. You can simply just direct message that person. So that's where you had the lock icon before on a previous slide. If you have Premium, you'll be able to message those people, and you don't even need to send a connection request. So that's something to be mindful of. And as well, I showed you kind of profile views. You can see a few people who have visited your profile. With LinkedIn Premium, you can see everybody who has visited your profile. This does help to maybe establish a connection. If there was a recruiter that visited, you'll be able to see that recruiter, and you'll be able to engage with them and maybe strike up a conversation. I wanted to just quickly show you this. On the LinkedIn homepage, you will have this tab here where it breaks down your homepage, your network, jobs, messaging, notifications, and your profile. If you click My Network, this is where you see lots of recommendations regarding who to connect with, what events to attend, what newsletters to subscribe to, and groups to join, and things like that. So the more you engage with it, the more it'll be able to provide you with those recommendations. So that's it. Hopefully it was a useful insight into LinkedIn and how you can get the most out of the platform. As I've said there when I've shared the tips, the best way really to get the most out of LinkedIn is definitely to interact and engage with people and build those relationships. And hopefully then you will be able to hear about opportunities, and you will be able to hear about jobs and gain some insight as well, rather than simply going and looking for it only and doing it in that direct manner. LinkedIn offers you the chance to hear about it passively when you're engaging with the platform. But it might not happen straight away. It'll be something that when you put the work and you put the effort in, hopefully you'll be able to reap the rewards. So thank you for joining me today. I hope that you've gained something valuable from the session, and I appreciate you taking the time to watch this 30-minute video today. Thank you.